morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Burning Clay, and I'm here to bring you a BT8 Digimon TCG deck profile. What we're going to get into today is the return of, or at least what I'm hoping is the return of the Tyrannomon deck. Now, Tyrannomon we got all the way back when the game was first released. It's had its different iterations between red, green, and black, but what we're looking at today, after a little bit of help coming out of EX1 and then an upcoming card from BT8, we're looking at an updated deck that I think could finally actually make the Tyrannomon deck work in a competitive sense. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. So first up, we're going to start looking at our Digitama. The first is going to be 4 copies of Minimon. And basically this is giving us the chance to, if we attack our opponent's Digimon directly, we're going to get a plus 1000 DP boost for our Digimon. And we're going to round out our Digitama with 1 copy of Penamon. Penamon again gives us a little bit of a benefit if we attack our opponent's Digimon directly. This time though, it's just in the form of a draw 1. This just helps us with a little bit of consistency with the deck. I thought about maybe going like to a 3-2 split with the Minimon, but I think the 4-1 split is better because we are going to be more focused on getting that DP boost more than trying to draw cards. Next, we're going to get into our level 3s, and the first one we're going to look at is 2 copies of Gobblemon. Not really much to say here, just your standard 2-drop vanilla card. It's there if you need it. Next, we're going to be looking at 4 copies of Agumon. Now, this is the Agumon from BT2 in green, and this has the inherited ability of giving your Digimon plus 1000 DP no matter what. So this is just another form of DP boosting for us, which again is going to be big with our deck, and this one is simply that, just a DP boosting Agumon. Next, we're going to be looking at 4 copies of Palmon from the green starter deck. This one has the inherited ability of, if you attack your opponent's Digimon directly, you gain 2000 DP. So we only get it if we're swinging at an opponent's Digimon, but hopefully with the way the deck works, we're going to be swinging in with piercing, so then that'll carry over to some potential security checks as well. Our last level 3 is going to be 4 copies of the red starter deck, Agumon. And just like its green counterpart, we're looking at 1000 DP boost on your turn. And we're not so worried about it being a red level 3, because with the way that the deck will now work, we will be able to transfer over into our green without any trouble. So if we have to hard play this Agumon, we're fine, and we still get that DP boost as we move up. Next, we're going to start moving into our level 4s. First one we're going to look at is 2 copies of Tyrannomon from BT2. Now this green Tyrannomon has the native ability of, when digivolving, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 level 5 Digimon and 1 green tamer to your hand. This is just a little chance for us to do some digging, hopefully get some pieces that we need to be able to move up into our Rust Tyrannomon. Hopefully we'll be able to pull a Taiga, but if we're still able to get our other tamer kin on the field, then we still have some benefit there. Next, we're going to be running 4 copies of Tyrannomon, but this one is going to be the promo version. Now this came from the official tournament pack volume 4, and this has the native ability to give itself 3000 DP right away. Then if you digivolve on top of it, its inherited ability is, while it's a level 6 or higher, you get 2000. So we do want to make sure that we have a way to get into our Rust Tyrannomon as quickly as possible to benefit from that extra 2000 DP, but having one on the field that without anything else is going to be 7,000 and able to swing into security is great in my opinion. Next, we're going to be running 2 copies of Tyrannomon. This is the red BT1 version of Tyrannomon that has the native ability of jamming. And that's really the only reason why we're running 2 copies of this. It's just a chance for us to get a quick Tyrannomon out on the field. The fact that it has jamming means that we're not worried about any of the Digimon in our opponent's security. Yes, we do have to worry about any sort of option cards or anything that we might run into, but being able to get some quick checks into security and not really have to worry about that if that Digimon is going to survive or not is huge in my opinion. And finally, we're going to round out our level 4s with Tyrannomon. This one is the EX1 version though. The great thing about this is it has a native ability of, when you digivolve, if you don't already have a Taiga in play and you have one in your hand, you can play it for free. And then this Digimon is also treated as a green Digimon. So not only is it able to be digivolving on top of red or green, but then you can have a red or green card digivolve on top of it as well. And then its inherited ability is, as long as this Digimon has Tyrannomon in its name, gains 2000 DP. And as you'll see as we go along, the only Digimon that it can digivolve into at this point is going to be another Digimon with Tyrannomon in the name. So we're guaranteed 2000 DP if we digivolve on top of this Tyrannomon. Alright, now we're going to get into our level 5s, and the first one we're going to look at is 4 copies of Metal Tyrannomon from BT2. This has the nice digivolving cost of only being 2 to get into a level 5. Obviously we have some chances to reduce that even more with our Taigas, but being able to, no matter what, be no more than 2 to get into your level 5 is great. Yes, it's only 6000 DP, but we're not really going to be looking to swing with this one as much as just use it as a stepping stone into our Rust Tyrannomon. Then it also has the nice inherited ability of when this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon, it is able to unsuspend, and then we have the chance to attack again. So this is why it's important for us to get that DP boosting in while we can. That way we can get over our opponent's level 6 Digimon. And here's the card that I think really brings it all together. Our last level 5, 4 copies of Master Tyrannomon from BT8. Not only can this Digimon digivolve on top of either a red or green, it is a red and green dual colored card. So this way we don't have to worry about what we have underneath it as far as, is it a red base, is it a green base. We can get up into this card and still be able to go into Rust Tyrannomon because he is green. And then you look at his native ability. On your turn, all Digimon with Tyrannomon in the name get security attack +1. So if you have just a handful of Tyrannomon on the field, they all get security attack +1. You could be looking at potentially sweeping your opponent before they really know what hits them. Then it has the inherited ability of giving your Rust Tyrannomon security attack +1 as well. And finally, our level 6, we're going to solely be running 4 copies of Rust Tyrannomon. And this has the native ability of, on your turn, as long as you have a green tamer in play, this Digimon can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. And then on your turn, when this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you get to suspend another one of your opponent's Digimon. So, let's just say we have Metal Tyrannomon underneath, we swing into one of our opponent's level 6s, destroy it. So not only do we get to unsuspend thanks to Metal Tyrannomon, but with Rust Tyrannomon's own ability, we get to then suspend one of our opponent's other Digimon, setting up our other Tyrannomon to possibly attack that Digimon as well. Next, we're going to start looking into our option cards, and the first option we're going to be running is 2 copies of Dino Memory Boost. Now, I'm sure by this point everybody's fully aware what the Memory Boost cards do as far as the delayed memory gain, but this main ability is to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and then obviously place it in the field, and you can gain 2 memory later. This is a great chance for you to be able to set up other Tyrannomon plays while at the same time setting yourself up for some memory shenanigans in the future. But if we're going to be talking about suspending Digimon, we have to go with Green's best option card for this, and that is Needle Spray. We're going to be running 2 copies of this card. Its main ability is to simply suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for a 2 cost. We're really hoping that we're able to find this in security though, because not only do you get to activate the card to main effect, then you get to add it to your hand. So you could potentially be looking at suspending 2 Digimon with this card for only 2 cost. We're going to round out our option cards with 2 copies of Atomic Blaster. Its main ability is to choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total DP adds up to 8,000 or less and delete them. I thought about running a couple copies of Gaia Force here, but I like the idea of being able to do multiple Digimon from your opponent's board rather than it just being 1. Especially with the meta of the hybrids, you got those low-level Digimon that are just out there to kind of help your tamers out. And then with the Armor Purge coming up, this is a great way of being able to zero out your opponent's DP rather than them just purging the champion off the top. Next, we're going to get into our tamers, and we're going to be running 4 copies of Taiga. Taiga has the ability of giving all of your Tyrannomon piercing, which is big because we are going to be looking to attack your opponent's Digimon directly. And then at the same time, you're able to reduce the Digivolution cost of your Tyrannomon by suspending Taiga and taking the Digivolution cost down by 1. And the fact that most of our Tyrannomon are at 2 costs to Digivolve, we could possibly be looking at 1 cost if we have some Taigas on the field, and we could really be speeding up our evolution into our Rust Tyrannomon to really set this deck up. And we're going to round out this deck with 2 copies of Kin Ajoji. Now this card is here to be our memory setter, making sure that we start every turn at 3, but it also has the nice ability of if one of our green Digimon destroys one of our opponent's Digimon, then we can suspend him to gain an additional memory. So just another chance for us to manipulate the memory count a little bit in our favor and possibly lead to some more plays. So that's it. That's my Tyrannomon deck for BT8. Let me know down in the comment sections what you think. Are there any cards that you would like to see included? Is there a different direction that you would go, maybe with the base, making it more red, making it more green? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that this deck is actually going to be playable in the upcoming BT8 meta. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you in the next one.